Hello, Jack and Jill Motorrad out there in YouTube land. It's Wes, I'm back. And now I'm in a completely different place, as you can see, and I'm with a completely different person. Everybody say hi to Steve. Steve, say hi to the whole world.
Hello, hello.
And we're gonna be he is gonna be putting new tires on my 1976 R90/6, but we are gonna show you how to remove and reinstall the wheels, because you need to know how to do that if you ever have to repair a tube or replace your own tire, or maybe you just want to work on something like the final drive or the brake system. So that's what we're going to do. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and we'll see you again when it's all over. All right, we're going to start with the rear because that's Steve's process. And since he's doing the actual work, he's making the choices. You can see we've got the center stand on a little piece of wood that just gives us a little more clearance.
And keeps it from slipping.
And keeps it from slipping. So to do this, the rear is actually fairly simple. There's one pinch bolt right there. And there's one axle nut right there. And we figured out the axle nut is a 22 millimeter. And the pinch bolt looks like I'm gonna guess 14.
12 or 13.
Or 12 or 13. Okay, we'll figure that out. But here's the thing, right? Once you've got that, the axle comes right through there and there's enough clearance under the exhaust pipe to get it out without having to take off the muffler, which is really helpful. There's not as much clearance over here. They don't put that cutout in there, which can make torquing it down a little difficult when you're done. All of this, the whole final drive assembly is bolted to the swing arm, so it stays on. You don't have to do this. The wheel will come off the other side. Were you right, 12?
No, I think it's 13.
And that's how we learn on Airheads, folks. Trial and error, and trying not to get burned.
Yeah.
Luckily, the mufflers cool down pretty quickly.
They do.
And there is a nut on the bottom. We'll probably have to hold that when we put it back together.
Yeah, when we tighten it up. But it held on its own pretty well already.
Trying to make sure I get the shot without getting in Steve's way. Nobody wants to get cracked in the head with a wrench.
See how easy this slides.
Yes, you can see the little hole there in the end of the axle, and he's going to use a screwdriver.
Maybe.
In the stock toolkit, they give you, does it go all the way through? Yes, it does. They give you a tool they call a Tommy bar, which is just a piece of metal.
Almost embarrassing to call it a tool, right?
It is, but you know, a tool is anything that makes your job easier. You can see that hole goes all the way through the axle, and then you just kind of tug on it.
This is when you got the corrosion there that will make it a little difficult to slide it out. So be a good idea to clean that off first.
Okay.
Be easier to get on.
So good eye, by the way.
All right.
There, and that'll help it come out a little easier.
Still pretty tight in there. There's one other thing that might help. Penetrating oil.
Okay.
Anti-friction.
There it goes, and the whole wheel's coming with it.
Yep. And it's pulling it off of the brake.
Yeah, you can kind of see it's come apart from the brake drum over there.
Right.
Do you want me to hold the wheel while you pull on the axle?
Sure. It's been on for the life of that tire, so it's...
It has. It's been on there for almost 6,000 miles.
All right, there we go.
So it came right out.
Looks like it's pretty much self-suspended on the brake.
And then, yeah, we may have to tilt a little, and we may not have to.
What we might have to do is pull the drop out because it's going up against
The fender, yeah.
Unless you see another avenue, maybe this way. Be aware.
Ooh, that is heavy.
And then, yeah, it's between the shock bolt and the brake. There we go, a little bit of wiggling.
And that, folks, is why it's important to put the right size tire on your wheel, because if you put one on that's a little too wide, it may not fit back in there without heroic efforts. So Steve mentioned we're gonna check the splines. You can see the splines, those look all right. We'll put a little bit of grease on those. The springs look good. There's plenty of material on the
look at the spline
shoes.
on this angle over here on the wheels.
Those splines look decent. That seal looks good. And that seal looks pretty good too. Fantastic, good. Now I know I don't have to do the seals, but sooner or later I'm gonna have to redo the bearings in there anyways. So now Steve's gonna do the hard part, which is getting the tire off and the new tire on, and I'm not gonna show you that because you've seen that in 100 videos. But we'll come back when we're putting the wheel back on. I'm replacing my Metzlers. These are Road Tech 01s with, what did I get? Michelin Road Classics. So that's the rear tire size there, 4.00 by 18, and the front tire size is 3.25 by 19. We've got new rim strips and new tubes, and there's Steve's handy dandy tire machine. So we'll be back in a few minutes. All right, so we got the wheel, we got our splines lubed. We're ready to put the wheel back on with the new tire. And
yeah, you won't be able to film while we do this unless I can get it on it. Look at that.
Look at that. Went in there like that was its job. So this tire's a little narrower than the stock one.
Apparently.
Or the other one that was on there.
So far, so good.
And the tires were the same size.
Were they really?
Yeah, same size.
It's amazing.
4.0 by being 18. So it might have just been that the Metzlers had a little bit more of a shoulder up at the end of the sidewall.
Yeah, it was just different profile, I think. If it's the same size, I don't get it.
So you can see Steve put the axle on his wire brush and got that all cleaned up. So he's just putting a little bit of grease on there. Remember, it's got that little cutout, so it should go right back in.
Look at that. Is the nut exposed?
Not yet.
Not yet.
You may have to tap it. There you go. That hollow sound means it's home. On the rear, on this bike, there are no spacers to keep track of. Your bike may be a little bit different, so make sure you pay attention. Any spacers that come out have to go right back in where they came from. So you gotta keep an eye on that. So now we're gonna snug everything up. The pinch bolt here gets torqued to 15 Newton meters.
I'd like to get this tight first because that means that
It'll pull it through.
pulling it through if there's any more. Actually, we got it pretty good, didn't we?
The axle nut gets torqued to 45 Newton meters.
Right about there.
Right, did your wrist pop?
Yeah, it did. You didn't hear it?
No, I didn't hear it. So you know how to use a torque wrench. We're not gonna show you that, but that's how the rear wheel comes on and off, and we'll switch to the front here in a second. Now we're gonna do the front. So it's the same 22 millimeter axle bolt nut, but there's a pinch bolt on each side. There's one here, and there's one on the corresponding fork lower. And we're gonna do this without removing the brake caliper because the brake caliper is very difficult to set up. So once we get the wheel out, we might spread the brake pads back just a little bit to give us some room to get it back in easier. Oh, that's a Allen, not a nut.
It's an Allen, yes.
What size is that?
It's a M6.
Okay. And the torques are the same, 15 on the pinch bolts and 45 on the axle nut.
Right.
Now this one will have spacers, so we're gonna pay real close attention when the axle comes out to which side of the wheel the spacers are on, how many of them there are, and in what order they are.
See how also this makes it easier for withdrawing the axle.
Yeah, which came out, oh, where'd that spacer go? So here's the spacer. See that? There's the spacer. We got to pay attention.
Yep.
That has to go back in. So we're going to leave it on this side
Right.
so
And
we know
same
where it
thing
is.
with this.
Is there one on that side too?
I believe there's a little one in here,
Yeah, it looks a
but
little.
it looks like it's a captive
Captured,
spacer.
yeah.
Right now, I'm going to actually raise it.
Just a little so it clears the fender. You feel like that came out of the caliper pretty good?
Yeah, it came right out.
So that was even easier than the rear, really.
Good time to check your brakes too.
Yeah, I'm going to do
And
that.
they're in good shape.
And there's no splines on the front to check or lubricate, just the single disc, and everything looks pretty good. Those seals look good.
Check your bearings, always a good idea.
Yeah,
They feel great.
I like to hear that.
And there is no spacer on this side, only
on that
this
side. Okay.
So that's important to remember when putting the axle back in, and we'll lube the axle up well before we do.
That one looks like cleaner than the rear one did.
A whole lot cleaner.
And those are looking pretty good. The outer one is still pretty fat. The inner one is a little thin at the front. You can see they're not perfectly square, and that's because they adjust to the brake disc. You see a little bit about how that construction works. There's the piston. So I'm gonna put a little spreader in there just to move those apart just a little bit to make putting the front wheel back on that much easier. Okay, now we're ready to put the wheel back in place. No trouble getting it into position. And because I spread the brake pads apart, it all went back together very easily. So we've got one spacer on this side. And
Which I might have been premature pushing this in. Wait until I have the spacer lined up.
okay, you can see you got a little bit of grease on the axle.
Grab that Allen wrench and put it in there as
This Allen wrench?
a placekeeper. Yeah, wait a minute.
That's a good idea.
Okay,
All right.
just as a little bit of a placekeeper. And
So
then,
yeah, so you can kind of see the Allen wrench going through the hole. And once he taps the Allen wrench with the axle, I'm not holding it very strong. And there it'll come straight through.
And I think I need to use the jack over here to raise it, which will...
Just a
bring-
tiny bit. Is it caught in that little lip?
Yeah, there it is. I got it.
There it goes. All right, and this side had a washer, which the rear nut did not have.
And once again, the pinch bolts do the work of holding the wheel once the axle is in place.
Right.
That's why this doesn't have to be super tight or anything like that. Fairly common size around here. And I'll put a screwdriver in here.
To keep it from spinning.
That's about all you need. Because, like we said, the pinch bolts do the work and keeping everything straight.
Well, that one at least you can, if you line up the grease mark from the grease that was on it before, you'll know where it is.
There you go.
So that's it. That's how you take the wheels on and off. At least mine. Yours may be different. You may have a different generation of Airhead. You may even have a different model. If you have an R60/6, you've got a drum brake on the front. If you've got a mono lever, you've got a different rear end, but they're all fairly similar. And you want to look up the torque values for your bike, look up the tire sizes for your bike, make sure you get the rotation correct
And here's an
and all of those things.
important thing.
Yeah, because I spread the brake pads apart.
Right, now we have seemingly no brakes, but then we do.
There you go.
And
then
that's always rolling it off the lift and go, oh no.
yeah, and then you end up hitting something. All right, so everybody say thanks to Steve for showing us how to do the wheels. Thanks a lot, Steve. Do your like and subscribe duty, and we'll see you in the next video. Take it easy, everybody.